As I stood in front of the group of eager faces, I couldn't help but smile. The room was filled with women who had stories etched in the lines of their faces, women who had seen decades of life, love, and loss. But today, they were here for something different, to learn how the power of color could change the way the world saw them and how they saw themselves. My name is Dr. Evelyn Moore, and I've spent over 20 years studying the intricate relationship between color, psychology, and aging. I specialize in helping older adults reclaim their confidence and make lasting impressions through simple yet profound changes in how they present themselves. Today, I was here to discuss something that most people overlook: the profound impact color can have on self-perception and social interactions, particularly for women over 60. I began, as I always do, with a simple question. Have you ever wondered why some women in their 60s seem to effortlessly captivate attention, while others, despite their vibrant personalities, feel invisible? The answer might surprise you. It's not about age, weight, or expensive clothes. It's about the colors they choose to wear. You see, color psychology is a powerful tool, and research shows that the right colors can significantly alter how others perceive and respond to us. In fact, a study published in 2024 in the Journal of Psychology and Aging revealed that women over 60 who strategically used certain colors experienced a 73% increase in positive social interactions. More importantly, they reported feeling more confident in their daily lives. This wasn't just about choosing colors that looked good on them. It was about understanding the psychological effects that colors have on both the wearer and those around them. I explained that certain colors can bring out the best in a woman's features, especially as we age. Colors like navy blue can exude trustworthiness, while soft peach can enhance warmth and vitality. Royal purple, on the other hand, speaks of sophistication and wisdom qualities that resonate deeply with women who have lived rich, full lives. As I spoke, I could see the women in the room nodding, the wheels turning in their minds. They were starting to understand that their wardrobe choices weren't just about fashion, they were about presenting the best version of themselves to the world. I could see the spark of excitement in their eyes, and I knew that today they were learning how to harness color as a tool of empowerment, not just for their appearance, but for their confidence and social connections as well. Color wasn't just a trend. It was a strategy, a secret weapon for women who wanted to be seen, heard, and appreciated, no matter their age. As I continued speaking, I could feel the energy in the room shift. The curiosity in their eyes deepened, and the anticipation grew. It wasn't just about colors anymore. It was about something deeper, something more profound. I paused for a moment to gather my thoughts, then began to share the research that had shaped my understanding of this topic and solidified my passion for it. You know, I said, what I'm about to tell you isn't just my opinion. It's backed by science. You see, over the years, leading institutions like Harvard University and the National Institute of Aging have conducted studies that shed light on how color impacts our perceptions and interactions, especially as we age. And these findings are nothing short of groundbreaking. I could see the women leaning in, their interest piqued. According to a study from Harvard University, a staggering 85% of first impressions are influenced by color alone. That means that the way we present ourselves visually before we even open our mouths can shape how others perceive us. Imagine that 85% of how we're seen is determined by something as simple as the colors we wear. That's a lot of power at our fingertips, isn't it? The room was silent for a moment, the weight of those numbers sinking in. But it gets even more interesting, I continued, letting the suspense build. In 2024, the Journal of Psychology and Aging published a study that revealed something truly fascinating. Women over 60 who used specific colors strategically reported a 73% increase in positive social interactions. Yes, 73%. That's nearly 3/4 of the people surveyed. They felt more engaged, more confident, and more visible in their daily lives. These colors, something as simple as a carefully chosen shade of navy or a soft peach, had a profound impact on how others interacted with them. It wasn't about makeup or clothes, it was about how they used color to communicate their presence and confidence. I could see the faces in front of me light up with understanding, as if a light bulb had gone off in their minds. For those of you who feel like you've become invisible as you've gotten older, this is especially important, I added, my voice softening. You see, as we age, there can be a feeling of being overlooked or disregarded. Society tends to focus more on youth and less on experience. But these studies show that with the right colors, you can reverse that. You can command attention, not by shouting, but by simply choosing the right hues that draw people in. The room felt warmer now, like the women had begun to see a glimmer of hope. It was as though they were starting to believe that they didn't have to fade into the background simply because of their age. I went on to share more findings that further solidified this message. In another study conducted by the National Institute of Aging, women over 60 who wore colors that boosted their confidence experienced a 42% increase in positive interactions in their daily lives. 42%. These women reported feeling more respected, more noticed, and more valued just by making intentional choices about the colors they wore. It's almost like the colors helped amplify their inner confidence. And the world responded. I paused, letting that information sink in. Then, with a gentle smile, I added, this isn't just about fashion or trends, it's about creating the best version of yourself. The version of yourself that feels seen, heard, and appreciated. When you wear colors that make you feel powerful, it sends a message. And trust me, the world notices. By now, the women were visibly engaged, nodding, some even taking notes. I could feel the shift in their energy, the excitement, the inspiration. These weren't just empty promises. The science behind this message made it real, credible, and attainable. Imagine walking into a room, not feeling invisible, but confident and vibrant. Imagine knowing that the colors you've chosen, whether it's a navy blue blouse that exudes trustworthiness or a soft peach scarf that brightens your complexion, are working for you. These aren't just clothes. These are tools for empowerment. You have the ability to control how the world perceives you, and it all starts with what you choose to wear. I watched as the women in the room exchanged glances, a new sense of possibility in their eyes. This wasn't just a lecture on fashion, it was a message of empowerment, a reminder that no matter how old we get, we are never too old to shine. And as I looked at them, I could feel that spark of inspiration igniting in their hearts. With the right colors, they could reclaim their space in the world, and they could do it confidently. Remember, ladies, I said, smiling warmly at the group, age is just a number, but the way you present yourself, the way you embrace your uniqueness and radiate confidence, that is timeless. And it all starts with the power of color. As I stood before the group of women, I could see the quiet understanding in their eyes. They were listening, not just to the words I was saying, but to the unspoken message, the message that they weren't alone. I took a deep breath and continued, my voice softening as I delved deeper into the emotional core of the subject. I know that many of you may have felt overlooked or less noticed as you've gotten older, I said, my tone warm and compassionate. It's something that so many women over 60 experience, even though no one talks about it much. The feeling of being invisible, as though your presence doesn't command the same attention it once did. And I get it. I've heard it from so many women I've worked with, those who, despite being confident and accomplished, suddenly feel like they've become a shadow in the world around them. I paused for a moment, letting those words sink in. It was a sensitive topic, and I could tell by the quiet in the room that it resonated deeply with the women before me. You see, I continued, our society places so much emphasis on youth. We're told that beauty, success, and even social value are often linked to how we look, how we feel, and how others perceive us. But what happens when the world starts to look at you differently? When your reflection in the mirror doesn't quite match the way you feel inside? That's where the challenge lies for many women in their 60s. It's the subtle changes in appearance, the lines on your face, the graying of your hair, the softening of your features that can make you feel less visible, less relevant, and sometimes even less confident. I could see heads nodding in agreement, the weight of those words settling in like a shared truth. I wasn't speaking from a place of judgment, but from a place of deep understanding, having witnessed this journey many times. I took a moment, allowing my next words to gently lift the room's collective spirit. But here's the thing. What if I told you that these feelings, this sense of invisibility, are not something you have to accept as your new reality? What if there's a simple yet powerful solution that's right in front of you? What if the colors you choose to wear could help you reclaim your presence and your confidence without surgery, without drastic measures, just with the right choices in your wardrobe? The room felt alive with anticipation, and I could see the shift in energy. It was as if a veil of doubt was being lifted. I could feel their curiosity growing. You see, when I first discovered the research from institutions like Harvard University and the National Institute of Aging, it changed everything for me. The studies revealed that color, yes, color has a profound impact on how we are perceived by others, and more importantly, how we perceive ourselves. The fact that 85% of first impressions are based on color, and that 73% of women over 60 experienced an increase in positive social interactions just by wearing certain colors, was an eye-opener. I could see the realization dawning on their faces. These weren't just empty fashion tips, these were backed by science, by real studies that proved the power of color. The women were listening intently now, their eyes wide with the possibility of what this new knowledge could mean for them. Imagine walking into a room, feeling confident, and knowing that the colors you've chosen are working for you. Imagine wearing a color like navy blue that tells the world, I am trustworthy and sophisticated, or a soft peach that lifts your spirit and makes you feel youthful and radiant, no matter your age. These colors don't just change how others see you, they change how you see yourself. They remind you that you are still vibrant, still relevant, and still worthy of attention. And that confidence? It's contagious. It draws others to you, helps foster deeper connections, and allows you to feel seen in ways you may not have felt in years. I could see a spark in their eyes, a glimmer of hope starting to rise as they began to understand that the changes they'd experienced didn't have to diminish their power. These weren't just cosmetic changes. They were transformations of self-awareness and self-empowerment. None of you are invisible, I said firmly, looking directly at the women in front of me. Your beauty, your strength, and your wisdom are timeless. And with the right colors, you can send a message to the world that you're not just here, but you're here with confidence, with grace, and with all the power you've earned over the years. I smiled, feeling a sense of warmth spread through the room. Trust me, ladies, when you wear the right colors, you can create an entirely new perception of yourself and of how the world sees you. As I finished speaking, I could feel the energy in the room shift. This wasn't just about color or fashion. It was about rediscovering one's power, about embracing change with confidence and self-assurance. And in that moment, I knew that the message had landed. These women, once feeling invisible, were now ready to embrace their own brilliance, starting with something as simple, yet as powerful, as color. "My name is Julia Carter," I said, smiling warmly, "and I am here to help you shine every day, no matter your age." As I continued, I could see the women leaning in, eager for practical advice they could use in their everyday lives. I knew they weren't looking for a complete wardrobe overhaul or a high-end shopping spree. They needed simple, effective solutions that could fit seamlessly into their existing style changes that were achievable without breaking the bank. Let me share a few simple, actionable tips that will make a world of difference. I began, feeling a sense of excitement building within me. These aren't just theories. They are everyday, easy to follow suggestions that can help you look and feel more confident with minimal effort. I could see their attention sharpening as I spoke, ready to take notes on the simple yet powerful adjustments they could make. First, let's talk about navy blue. This color is your secret weapon, especially if you're looking for something that works for nearly any occasion. Navy blue is incredibly versatile. It's softer than black, which can sometimes feel too harsh, especially as we get older. A navy blazer or cardigan is an easy addition to your wardrobe that will instantly elevate your look. The great thing about navy is that it pairs effortlessly with almost anything. Try it with a white or cream blouse underneath for a clean, sophisticated look. Or, if you're feeling a bit more playful, you can pair it with a pop of color like a vibrant scarf or jewelry without overwhelming the outfit. Navy works for casual days and formal occasions alike, so you'll get so much use out of just a few key pieces. The women nodded along, taking in the advice, many of them already thinking of ways they could incorporate navy blue into their current wardrobe. Next up is soft peach, a color that has a magical ability to brighten up your complexion and add a warm glow to your face. It's a subtle, flattering shade that's perfect for adding a fresh and youthful look without feeling overly bold. You don't have to dive into an entire peach-colored outfit. Just a peach blouse or scarf near your face can work wonders. This works especially well if you're attending social gatherings or meetings where you want to appear approachable yet elegant. Pair a soft peach top with some neutral-colored pants or a skirt, and you'll instantly notice how the color softens your features and gives you a warm, inviting look. I could sense the room beginning to fill with a sense of excitement as the women imagined how easy it would be to bring these colors into their lives. Lastly, there's royal purple, a color that exudes confidence and sophistication. You don't need an entire wardrobe full of purple, but introducing a purple accessory, whether it's a scarf, a necklace, or a pair of earrings, can add an instant touch of class. For a slightly bolder look, a royal purple dress or top is a showstopper at formal events, but it's also surprisingly versatile for everyday wear. If you're unsure, start small. Try a purple cardigan over a simple outfit, or add a pop of purple in your accessories. The beauty of purple is that it balances both creativity and elegance, and it works wonders for making a statement. As I watched the women process these ideas, I continued, "The key to all of this is understanding that you don't need to overhaul your entire style to make these colors work for you. Start with a few simple pieces, like a navy blazer, a soft peach scarf, or a purple accessory. These are small changes that don't require a lot of time or money, but will have a significant impact on how you feel and how you're perceived by others." The goal isn't to change who you are or how you look completely. It's about enhancing your natural beauty and embracing the power of color to boost your confidence. I smiled warmly, seeing the light in their eyes as they began to realize how easy it would be to incorporate these colors into their everyday lives. Remember, ladies, it's all about feeling seen and feeling confident. And with the right colors, you can transform your presence and your energy without needing to change your entire wardrobe. So go ahead, play with these colors, and see how they make you feel. You might just surprise yourself with how much of a difference the right color can make. With that, I felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing I had shared something that could truly make a positive impact in their lives, something practical, empowering, and achievable for every woman, no matter her age. As I looked around the room, I could see that the women were processing the advice, their minds whirring with possibilities. I knew that many of them, despite their eagerness to try these simple color changes, might still harbor some doubts. Perhaps some of them were wondering if their age would hold them back from truly embracing their full potential, from stepping into their confidence and owning their space. I could almost hear their unspoken thoughts. Can I really look and feel confident again, no matter how old I am? I paused for a moment, letting the silence sink in before I spoke again, this time with even more conviction. Ladies, I want to tell you something that's absolutely crucial. Your confidence is not defined by your age. I don't care if you're 60, 70, or even 80. You are just as valuable, powerful, and capable of commanding attention as any younger woman out there. In fact, as you get older, you've accumulated life experiences, wisdom, and strength that are unmatched. Your presence is something that deserves to be seen and acknowledged. There was a shift in the room. A few of the women straightened in their chairs, a slight spark of recognition flickering in their eyes. It was as if the words I had spoken had stirred something deep within them. The thing is, I continued, my voice warm and reassuring, we often think that beauty and confidence are things that fade as we get older, but that's simply not true. In fact, the most powerful women I know are the ones who fully embrace who they are, regardless of the number of candles on their birthday cake. Confidence doesn't have an expiration date, and it's certainly not something that's locked away just for the younger generation. I could see a few women nodding, some with a thoughtful expression, others with a look of quiet realization. It was clear that this message resonated deeply. They were ready to accept that they too could shine, no matter what their age. By choosing the right colors and understanding how to highlight your best features, you're not just enhancing your outward appearance, you're also sending a message to yourself: I matter, I'm seen, and I'm worth paying attention to. When you wear the colors that make you feel good, when you step out with confidence, you radiate something magnetic. You dare to be noticed, and people will respond to that energy. I paused again, my eyes meeting theirs. Think about it. How many times have you felt invisible or overlooked in a room? How many times have you felt like people aren't seeing the real you? Well, I'm here to tell you that you have the power to change that. And it starts with how you feel about yourself and how you choose to express yourself. I smiled, the warmth in my eyes reflecting the sincerity of my words. Ladies, you don't need to wait for some magic moment to feel confident again. You don't need to be young to be worthy of attention and respect. What you need is to understand that you are already enough. The right colors, the right mindset, and the right attitude, those are the keys to unlocking the confidence that's always been there, just waiting for you to embrace it. By now, the room was quiet, but the energy had shifted. It was as if a collective weight had been lifted, and a sense of possibility had begun to fill the air. So go ahead, wear that navy blue blazer or that soft peach top. Own it, wear it with pride, because no matter your age, you deserve to feel confident, beautiful, and seen. You are seen, and more importantly, you are powerful. As I finished speaking, I could see the change in their eyes. They weren't just looking at me anymore. They were looking at themselves, perhaps for the first time in a long while, with new eyes that recognized their own value, their own beauty, and their own power. And I knew in that moment that I had made a difference. As I saw the women in front of me beginning to truly absorb the message, I knew it was time to take this conversation to a deeper level. Words and ideas are powerful, but stories, real stories from real people, have an even greater ability to touch hearts and spark transformation. I could see that many of them still felt hesitant, unsure if these changes could truly make a difference in their own lives. They needed to know they weren't alone, that the journey to confidence and feeling seen wasn't just theoretical, it was real, and it was happening right now for many women just like them. I leaned forward slightly, my voice soft but intentional. Let me share some stories with you, stories that prove these principles work. These are stories from women who, just like you, were feeling overlooked, invisible, and unsure of their worth. But with a little shift in mindset and a few simple changes, they found a new sense of power and confidence. I paused for a moment, gathering my thoughts before sharing. Take Carol, for example. Carol is 70 years old, a retired teacher from Boston. She used to feel that, as she aged, she was slowly fading into the background. No one seemed to notice her anymore, and she felt like her vibrant personality was being overlooked simply because of her age. But then she decided to try something different. She started wearing a navy blue blazer to social events and family gatherings. At first, it felt like a small step, but the reactions she got from others were anything but small. People began to compliment her on her presence. They noticed her for the first time in a long while, Carol said. The first time I wore that blazer, I felt like I was walking into a room with a spotlight on me. It wasn't just the blazer, it was how I felt wearing it. I felt like I had regained control of how I was seen. I could see the women in the room nodding, many of them smiling as if they recognized a part of themselves in Carol's story. I continued. Then there's Linda, a 68-year-old retired librarian from Chicago. Linda had always worn dark, neutral colors, thinking they were the best way to look slim and sophisticated. But when her daughter convinced her to try a soft peach sweater, something incredible happened. Linda said, "That day, I felt like a new woman. People started smiling at me, talking to me more. A man at the grocery store even asked me out for coffee. It was as if I had stepped into a new version of myself, and it felt amazing." The room was quiet as they listened, and I could see the glimmer of hope in their eyes. These women weren't alone in their struggles. They could relate to Carol, Linda, and many other women who had felt overlooked. They were starting to believe that with a small, simple change, like choosing the right colors, they could start to feel seen, heard, and valued once again. "I'm telling you this," I said, "not to offer empty promises, but to show you that change is possible, even in small, everyday ways." These women are proof of that. They didn't have to make drastic changes to their wardrobes or spend a lot of money. All they had to do was understand the power of color, of how it can change the way others perceive you, but more importantly, how it can change the way you perceive yourself. The room was filled with a quiet energy, the kind of energy that only comes when people begin to realize that the struggles they've been facing are shared by others, and that there are real, actionable steps they can take to make a change. As I watched them, I felt an overwhelming sense of connection between us. This wasn't just a lecture or a lesson, it was a shared experience, a shared journey toward reclaiming confidence, presence, and self-worth. "You are not alone," I said softly, "and you don't have to wait for someone else to notice you. You have the power to make yourself seen. And if you choose to embrace these simple changes, I promise you, others will notice. You will notice. And most importantly, you will feel the difference inside yourself." Their eyes were filled with understanding, and for the first time, I saw many of them stand a little taller. There was something profound happening in the room. A transformation had begun. As I spoke to the group, I could feel the energy in the room shifting. The conversation had taken a turn, and I knew we were at a crucial moment. I smiled as I looked around at the women who were leaning forward, eager for what came next. This was no longer just about colors. It was about how those colors could become their superpower. "Think of color as your superpower," I said, my voice soft but carrying a sense of excitement. I know it may sound a little dramatic, but I truly believe it. Color isn't just a fashion choice or something to blend in with. It's a tool that has the power to shift how people perceive you, how they interact with you, and most importantly, how you feel about yourself. I paused to let that idea sink in. When you wear the right colors, it's like you're wearing your own invisible cloak of confidence. The best part is, this isn't just something that's subjective or based on feelings, it's rooted in science. For example, studies from places like Harvard University and the National Institute of Aging show that color choices affect how others see us, and they can even influence the way we see ourselves. I could see the women nodding as they absorbed the weight of what I was saying. The concept of using something as simple as color to change their experience in the world seemed to spark something in them. It wasn't just about looking good, it was about taking control of how they were perceived and how they could feel in control of their social interactions. "Here's what's fascinating," I continued. "Studies show that 85% of first impressions are shaped by color. That's right, 85%. That's a huge number, and it shows just how powerful color can be. So when you choose your outfits, you're not just dressing yourself, you're sending a message before you even say a word. And that message? It's one that others can pick up on immediately." I paused, letting that sink in. "Now, think about this," I said, lowering my voice for effect. "When you wear the right colors, you are in control of that message. You are telling the world who you are and what you stand for. No longer will you be invisible or overlooked. Instead, you'll be seen for the confident, vibrant woman that you truly are." Their faces lit up with understanding, and I knew we had connected on a deeper level. They could now see the true potential in the colors they chose for themselves. It was no longer just about putting on clothes. It was about embracing their own power. I smiled again, feeling a sense of excitement for them. "So, I challenge you. Try wearing colors that speak to your true self. When you wear navy blue, it's not just about the color, it's about the trust and confidence you project. When you wear soft peach, it's not just about being pretty, it's about radiating warmth and positivity. And when you wear royal purple, it's not just about being bold, it's about showing your strength and sophistication." The women were leaning in, hanging on every word. If you want to learn more, try incorporating these colors into your wardrobe in small ways. Start with a navy scarf, a peach blouse, or a purple accessory. I promise you, the results will surprise you. I smiled warmly, knowing this was just the beginning. And as always, I'd love to hear about your experiences. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like button if you feel inspired. And don't forget to subscribe for more empowering tips. You have the power to change how you are seen. And it all starts with the colors you choose. As I wrapped up, I could see the spark of inspiration in their eyes. They were ready to embrace this new idea, to take control of their image and their confidence. And I knew in that moment that this was just the beginning of a beautiful journey. As the conversation drew to a close, I could sense the energy in the room had shifted. There was a new sense of excitement, a new spark of confidence. I looked around and smiled, feeling the sense of connection that had been built in just this short time. It was more than just about the colors, it was about empowering these women to take control of their lives, their confidence, and their futures. Before I ended the video, I took a moment to express how deeply grateful I was to be part of this journey with them. I hope you feel inspired today, I said, my voice filled with sincerity. Remember, the colors you choose aren't just about how you look, they're about how you feel and how you want the world to see you. You have the power to use color as your superpower. And I truly believe that when you do, you'll see incredible changes in how you're perceived and how you feel about yourself. I leaned forward slightly, a friendly smile on my face. Now, I want to hear from you. How do you feel about the idea of using color to boost your confidence? Have you ever had a moment where the right color made a difference in how you were perceived or how you felt? Please share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. I would love to read them. And if you have any questions about color or how to incorporate it into your wardrobe, don't hesitate to ask. I'm here to help, and I'd love to guide you on this journey. I paused for a moment, letting the invitation sink in. If this video inspired you today, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to Senior Moments Matt, because there's so much more to come. I'll be sharing more tips and insights to help you feel empowered, confident, and stylish at any age. So, hit that notification bell so you never miss an update. Finally, I gave a warm smile. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm excited to see how you all embrace your new superpowers. Remember, you're never too old to feel amazing, to stand out, and to make an impression. I'll see you in the next video.